Hi everyone, welcome to our next criminology video. This is for Unit 1 and we're starting our campaigns today. So this is Unit 1, 2.1 and 2.2. So both of these sections are going to be into this video. So let's get started. Excellent. So this is comparing campaigns for change. So this is 2.1. If you remember when we did this in class, we had a look at 3 campaigns to get ourselves going and to have a look at what was out there. So we had a look at this one first of all, take a stand, lend a hand, stop bullying. Now, we had a look at the colours used, the layout, the text, the font. We had a look at the alliteration in the phrase. And so all of this contributed towards, at the end of the day, designing your own campaign, because that's where we're going. You have to design your own campaign for one of the crimes found in the brief. And so use the ideas. This is a very, very simple campaign here, but very effective, and again it's very clear what it is, and the different colours that they've used help the words and the meaning stand out. We also had a look at this one here, stop until Parkinson's isn't, stop. Again, we looked at the colour. We had a look at the idea of actually using a celebrity that suffers with Parkinson's. We looked at the layout and the structure. We had a look at the logo of the fox, etc., and what the fox meant. So we really looked into, we had a look at the fact it was all capitals. So these things are very, very important when considering designing your own campaign. The final one we looked at was ditch the knife, save a life. Again, we had a look at how it's on a graffiti wall, but the white is the shape of a knife. We had a look at how the font looks a bit like someone's chiselled it in with a knife. Again, all in capitals. There's alliteration there, rhyming. And so it's the idea of how these campaigns catch your eye, catch your attention. There's very little words on these, but they have a lot of impact. They really catch their audience's attention. And obviously the audience with this one is a younger audience, an audience that are familiar with graffiti, etc., because maybe that sort of audience also might be surrounded by knife crime, etc. So think about your audience and whether they're effective or not. So within this topic will compare campaigns for change. We did 4. Look at clear developed examples of a range of different campaigns, because you need to in your control system link them to your own campaign. Examine the effectiveness in achieving their objectives and be able to evaluate the similarities and differences. So this is a really immense and big topic, and it's all linking into you designing your own campaign. So for each of your campaigns, so for each of the 4 we're about to do, you have to have information on those 4 things. You have to know what the purpose of that campaign is, what the driving forces are, what the methods and media used are, and what the successes are. So the purpose. Think about whether the campaign is about a change in policy or law, attitudes or funding. What's the purpose of it? What's the point of it? Be specific. What changes are being campaigned for? Driving forces, what's the event or issue that started it off in the first place? Is it local, national or international? Methods, the means that you get your campaign out there to its audience, and successes. Has the campaign been successful? What has it achieved? So those are the 4 focuses for each of these 4 campaigns. So you have to make sure you've covered all 4 of them in what we're going to do next. So, oops, apologies. The first one is a change in policy. Some campaigns aim to change policies. These are often directed towards government or political parties, but sometimes other organisations as well. Campaigners hope to achieve change more quickly by aiming for a change in policy. So policies are what go out and affect laws and things like that. The one that we looked at was unlock. So we looked at a change in policy here with the unlock campaign. So again, from the logo, so we had a look first of all from the logo, from the writing, from the font, what you thought this was about. Unlock for people with convictions. What does it mean? What's it about? Look at the language used. we had a look at how it doesn't say unlock for criminals, it says people with convictions. So again, it shows that it's trying to support those people with convictions, not condemning them using other words that society might use. We had a look at how the key was part of the K at the end, and how the use of just the blue, black and white, etc. So we really had a look at their logo, their campaign, what they were stood for. Unlock. So Unlock was our policy change. Unlock is a charity set up to help people who face stigma and obstacles because of their criminal record. The charity aims to help people by providing information, advice and support for people and employers. They also campaign for changing policy by consulting, researching and preparing reports to inform policymakers and the public. We challenge bad practice, influence attitudes and speak truth to power. So this is the idea of lowering the obstacles that people face who have a criminal record. And so then on the Unlock website, it has a number of things. The Unlock website says that changes to the Rehabilitation of Offenders Act came into force on the 10th of March in 2014. On this day, the result of the changes meant that hundreds of thousands of people with convictions automatically became spent, which meant that for many purposes, such as applying for most jobs and when applying for insurance, they no longer need to disclose their record. In establishing statistically the numbers of people helped by these changes, we have carried out some research which suggests that before the changes came in, over 2.5 million people had unspent criminal records. Following the reforms, we estimate that the number has been reduced to less than 750,000, meaning that 1.75 million people have benefited as a result. So that would link into your successes. So from this, you have to be aware what the purpose is, what their methods are, etc. Check out their website again. Check out YouTube and watch some videos about Unlock. So remind yourself about the Unlock charity and what they're campaigning for. The second one we did was change the law. Some campaigns seek to change an existing law or create a new law. The one we looked at was Sarah's Law. So this was a change in law. The background: in 2000, whilst on holiday with her family, 8-year-old Sarah Payne was abducted and murdered by Roy Whiting. She had been playing with her siblings. Whiting had already been convicted for abduction and sexual assault of another girl. Sarah's mother, Sarah, claimed that if she had known about such an offender lived nearby, she would not have let her children play in the local fields by themselves. Sarah argued that important information had been withheld from her, so she had been unable to make an informed decision about the safety of her child. Sarah began a campaign to introduce a law like Megan's Law in the USA to make it requirement for police to disclose information about local sex offenders to parents or carers of children. So again, check out the successes. Make sure that you are aware of how far they've come and what developments have been made. Make sure that you are, very aware of the purposes and the key things that they did as far as methods of getting their message out there. Don't forget as well, you also need to compare them. So how is this similar and different to Unlock? What have they used? What strategies are similar and different from how they're getting their campaign out there? The third one we looked at was change of awareness. A lot of campaigns seek to change the awareness of the public about an issue or crime. This might mean trying to improve public understanding, encourage the public to reduce crime, or encourage victims to come forward. Now, you might do a change awareness probably in your campaign. So changing awareness, because this is kind of a starting point to make people aware that it's something that goes on and change their understanding and their viewpoint towards it. The one that we did was #MeToo. The campaign began by Tarina Burke, a social activist, in 2006, so it's been ongoing for a long, long time. She used the phrase Me Too on a MySpace social media in America to try and help women by encouraging them to share their feelings. It was originally aimed at young black women who were the victims of sexual abuse. Tarina Burke wished she had said Me Too when confronted with a young girl who had been abused. In 2017, the #MeToo campaign was launched in response to the multiple allegations of sexual abuse made against film producer Harvey Weinstein. The campaign asked women who were victims to tweet using the hashtag #MeToo. The aim was to empower women to come forward if they were victims of sexual abuse, for example in the workplace, or to show the scale of the issue. So most of you will have remembered the 2017 launch rather than the 2006 launch. But again, we discussed together how important hashtags are, that it is a free platform to use, and anything that is free is immensely important for your campaigns. A hashtag is free, and if you can get people behind using it, you can really spread your word extremely quickly. Also, because it's a hashtag, it's on social media, which is worldwide. So we're talking international coverage very, very quickly. Finally, change of attitudes. Again, you might want to focus on changing attitudes when you come to doing your own campaign. So you either do change attitudes or change awareness. An attitude is where campaigns are driven towards changing an attitude that someone has. Sometimes this might be to encourage the public to accept or understand an issue more. And the final one that we did was Stop Hate UK. So again, we discussed and looked at the posters. We had a look at how the hand was used on the O. So we looked at how the lettering, there was a letter that was changed with a symbol instead. We looked at how the hand was an ongoing thing. We looked at how it's red, black and white. So very, very prominent colours there. Look at the font as well. So you're not alone. It's abbreviated. It's not you are not alone. So it's shortened down. It's more colloquial language. We looked at how they used different coloured text within it. So they didn't just do it all in black. They did a bit with red and a bit with black. There's very little punctuation as well onto this one. And look at how the phone number stands out. Everything on that main poster stands out. There's not too much going on, there's not too much stimuli to look at. It's very, very effective as far as catching your attention. Stop Hate UK, this is a national organisation set up to campaign against hate crimes like attacks based on protected characteristics, which are sexuality, race, religion, disability, gender identity. It focuses on encouraging people to speak out about hate crimes and works with the Crown Prosecution Service to do this. The organisation seeks to change in attitude towards reporting. They offer advice and support to victims and witnesses about what to report and how to do it. The organisation was set up as a direct response to the racist murder of Stephen Lawrence. Stop Hate UK makes widespread use of social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter, and also organises local events such as information stands at Pride events. So what again you need to do is you need to go and have a look at the websites again, watch the videos about it, remind yourself where they've come from, how they've started, what their purpose is, what their methods are. So you need to remind yourself before doing your assessment what these four do show. Finally, very, very importantly, to get those top marks, you have to be able to compare them. You don't just want to be talking about them on their own. You have to be able to compare them with each other and with your own campaign. So you need to focus on purpose, driving forces, methods and media. So that's the same all the way through. That's your structure. Purpose, what's the purpose of them? What's the driving forces? What's the methods and media? What's the successes? So when we did it together, we did a Venn diagram comparing Unlock and Sarah's Law. We did a Venn diagram comparing #MeToo and Stop Hate UK. So we looked at the similarities between them. We then did what do all four have in common? What do three of them have in common? So what does Unlock, Stop Hate and Me Too have in common? Or what does Sarah's Law, #MeToo and Stop Hate? So we looked at what three of them had in common. We looked at what just two had in common. So again, you don't have to do the Unlock and Sarah's Law again, but does Sarah's Law have anything in common with Stop Hate UK? Does Unlock have anything in common with #MeToo? So it's the idea again of overlapping. Where are the similarities? Where are the differences? And finally, what's unique to one campaign? What is unique that only they do? And so again, these similarities and differences are very, very important, and using the right language, like, however, on the one hand, in comparison, similarly, differently, this is differing too. So you have to use comparative language as well in order to get those top end marks. Final important point to note, in the controlled assessment, you need to write up this topic after you've done topic 3. Topic 3, 3.1, 3.2 and 3.3 is your own campaign. You have to do your own campaign first and then do 2.1 and 2.2, because you have to link them campaigns to your campaign, and you can only talk about your campaign once you've done your campaign. So this is because to assess the top mark band, you need to compare these campaigns to your own planned campaign as well. So you have to actually do your campaign first in order to be able to compare. After we've studied topic 3, we'll return to 2.1 so that you can think about how you can do this comparison. So once we'd done your campaign and we'd gone through your campaign, etc., and how to design a campaign, if you remember, we then went back and had a look at how you would then link it to the 4 that we've done. All right, so second half. 2.2, evaluate the effectiveness of media used in campaigns for change. This is the evaluation section now. The unit requires you to evaluate the effectiveness, provide a clear and detailed evaluation of a range of media, provide well-reasoned judgments and how these are used in the campaign towards their effectiveness. So what we first of all did was we went back to the 4 that we'd done, Unlock, Sarah's Law, #MeToo and Stop It UK, and we discussed which one you thought was the best. Which one did you think was the best campaign and why? And then which way or method do you think is the most effective for spreading the word and gaining support? So again, we had a discussion of these in lesson, looking at the 4 we'd already done. The 5 types of media that we focused on were blogs, social media, advertising, events and print. So blogs, social media, meaning networking, viral messaging, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Advertising and merchandise, what you're going to make. Events, what you're going to actually do to advertise what you're doing. And prints and leaflets. So blogs, first one, the definition is a regularly updated website or web page run by an individual or small group, conversational in style. Effectiveness and advantages, anyone can set one up, they're free, they're up-to-date information, the content is fresh, links to social media pages so you keep everything linked together, you can donate easily using it, and you're not just writing, so you can post pictures, you can post events, you can post links, etc., videos, so it makes it more interesting. Limitations, it's quite hard to keep on top of, time consuming, become out of date very quickly, and blogs can also be hard to find. You know, the blogs don't appear, you don't go onto a forum like you would Instagram and look through loads of things and see what you're interested in. Blogs don't have that way of spreading the information, so you have to have a way of sharing it with your audience to begin with. Examples are things like Greenpeace, so check out Greenpeace. In class we went back to the one that we'd already done, which was Unlock, so we had a look at the Unlock blog, and we looked at what information was available, was it interesting, needed to read. So you remember we looked at the colour and the way they were set out and how they posted pictures of actual individuals that we liked, but then we said how the writing was quite, not very conversational, it was quite intense, there was a lot of words, etc. So we had a look at their blog, and again, go back and remind yourself, look again at the strengths and weaknesses of it, because that's the whole point of this, is looking at the strengths and limitations of using blogs. And you can use Unlock or Greenpeace or any others for an example, but those are the 2 that we looked at. Second of all, social media and networking. Definition, it's websites such as Facebook, Twitter. Effectiveness allows videos, information to spread quickly. 2.3 billion people use social networking sites. Cost effective. They're universal, they're worldwide. Limitations, hackers can get onto your page and alter them. Internet trolls can spread upsetting messages. And again, the examples, one of the examples that we discussed was the Ice Bucket Challenge, which raised 115 million. It got people spreading the message. It got people looking into the different campaigns it was actually originally started for, and how people got involved in this, how people raised money by doing something, again, free. They did something free. It doesn't cost anything to do the Ice Bucket Challenge, but a lot of people got on board with it. The example we looked at was Stop Hate UK's Facebook and Stop Hate UK's Twitter. We had a look at what they posted on each of their accounts, how they did it, how they kept with their logos and their colour schemes. We had a look at how they used actual accounts, how often they'd updated it, when they'd last updated it, etc. So again, go back and have another look. Advertising and merchandise. The definition is items for sale, things you make that are related to your campaign. Effectiveness can contain images, campaign logos, which help increase awareness and raise money. Limitations, you can risk losing money if you then don't sell the stuff. Initial funds, you need to start off making something in order to make your merchandise. The example we had looked for Help for Heroes has an immense catalogue of merchandise. So we had a look at which ones, we looked at prices, we had a look at the layout, we looked at the similarities between them, how the logo was there, etc., etc. Events. The definition is an occasion an event, an occasion, which takes place to promote a campaign. Effectiveness can be shown on the news, newspapers, social media, allows people to become involved and therefore aware, so can raise a lot of money through mass involvement. Limitations, things don't always go to plan, takes a lot of organising, could cost quite a bit of money to set up. Live Aid, children in need, children raised over 50 million in 2017. And again, we had a look at Stop Hate UK's events. So again, go and have another look at these events. Remind yourself you need to have specific examples to back up your assessment. Prints and leaflets. This is something that you print, so it's printed materials through a printer with information about your campaign. Effectiveness, you can have contact numbers, you can have links to your social media, you can provide useful information about it that's printed on the leaflets. Limitations, they don't really rely on technology, which might alienate some. So again, people don't always read things you put through the letterbox. They don't really look at things that you hand out or put on people's windscreens. It can be expensive. They're not cheap to make, especially because they're often all in colour. It can be off-putting if too long, if there's too much information there. Have a look at Cancer Research UK. There is 647 million. So have a look at the Cancer Research UK. Have a look at their different types. They have leaflets, they have posters, they have handouts, they have publications, they have downloadable PDFs. Have a look at everything that Cancer Research UK offers, and again, which one do you think is the better format, why? So this is again seeing what's out there, giving specific examples. Again, have a look at Stop Hate UK, compare it with the Cancer Research. This is all about comparison, giving examples and comparing them. It's evaluating what works better than something else, because again, we're always thinking about what you're then going to do in your own campaign. All right, folks, so hopefully you have found that useful, and hopefully that has just reminded you of what we did in 2.1 and 2.2 as far as the campaigns. And as I said, this is all about comparisons. It's comparing the difference. So it's the 4 that we did. So Sarah's Law, #MeToo, Unlock, and Stop Hate UK. Go back and have a look at their websites. Go back and have a look at their blogs, their social media. Watch some things on YouTube again. Remind yourself of these 4 campaigns. Remind yourself of how they're similar and different, and then have a look for the second half about evaluating it. Which methods are the best methods? Which methods are most effective and why? And using those specific examples and compare. So thank you very much, folks. I will be doing a video very shortly for your final section on campaigns, so 3.1, 3.2 and 3.3. So keep yourself looking out for that one. Otherwise, thank you very much, everyone. Bye for now, folks.